Hey, welcome back to another episode of Instagram Podcast. I'm your host, Juan. As always, my co-host is here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, man. I was telling you earlier that I'm pretty tired from doing nothing.
I feel like that's just like the beginning of every episode. How you been? Good. Tired.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my, character trait.
Is that your personality?
Everybody can relate to me. They're just, fucking laying in bed listening to some podcast while they're, eating candy and masturbating. That's what I do.
So, if your Pokedex came out, it'd be like, Trip, the sleepy Pokemon.
Yeah.
Or, no, I guess it'd be the inherently tired Pokemon.
Yeah, sure.
Great sense of humor. Really weird.
Yeah.
Likes candy.
Tight butt, too. Really tight.
I don't think I've been a friend for a while. I don't think I've ever looked at your butt.
You don't have to look at it. You can just feel it.
Ooh. Yeah. Felt it. No, man, that's cool. I'm sorry you're tired, but I know you're here to do your job because this week we're here to fucking kick ass.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. This week is the kick-ass episode. It's where we talk about cool shit and only cool shit. So check it out. Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Cool shit.
Christ Airs.
Cool shit.
Watermelons.
Did you say Christ Airs?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's a skateboard trick.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Watermelons. Yeah, cool shit, yeah.
Ice.
Definitely cool shit.
Vanilla Ice.
No. Oh. He had a reality TV show for a bit where he'd flip houses.
All right, well, I guess we're done with the episode.
That's the episode.
We'll talk to you. Hey, how have you been, man?
I'm all right, man. Nothing much. I've been watching a lot of what we have to watch for this week's episode.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of it.
There was a couple of things,
and then when I watch things, my brain can only watch it for so long before it's like, you know what, I need to see something else.
Yeah. And
so the other thing I've been watching as opposed to this is Friends. Because it has the same vibe. Just play it and it just kind of goes through. I'll fall asleep to it. Netflix stops. It doesn't matter if I miss an episode or two. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
So I'm on season 9 right now. Nice. Episodes 10 or whatever.
Cool.
It's only been a few weeks. I really need to get back to school.
Hey, what happened to the monkey?
What? Oh, so the monkey got too old and he started becoming sexually, aggressive or whatever. So they had to send him away and he got into San Diego Zoo. Okay. And then when Ross goes to see him in the San Diego Zoo, there was a break-in and the monkey got stolen. And so the monkey is now in advertising, made for commercials. And then the monkey was in a movie. Mm-hmm. Remember that movie, Outbreak?
Yeah. The one that had to do with monkeys.
So, but it was a sequel of that, and it was in New York. And so Ross went and saw him, and they had a moment. Yeah.
Okay.
The monkey's doing fine. Marcel.
Marcel. What about the duck?
The duck and chick. I don't remember what happened to them. I remember Ross and Rachel and what's her face?
Monica.
She's like my least favorite character.
I know, that's why I knew you forgot her name. Even though you've watched 9 fucking seasons.
Anyways, them two, they had a bet with Chandler and Joey to get rid of them, and they lost, so they still kept them. I know at one point they stopped having the pets. At the very end of the show, of the entire series, Chandler and Monica move out because they're starting their family somewhere else, and they give Joey a new chicken and a new baby duck as a gift.
Yeah, I remember.
But I don't remember what happened to the other ones, actually.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the, switching apartments type deal. No, because when they did switch apartments, the duck was still there because every now and then they'd have to tell the ducks, yo, chick, you live over here now, so they'd have to move them, corral them over there. I don't know exactly. I know they were still alive when they left for Ross's wedding in London, and Phoebe was in charge of feeding them. But she kind of forgot. Maybe they died. I don't know. They died?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right. That's great.
So that's your wrap up of your weekly Friends questions. Come next week and you can ask me more questions about Friends. If there was Friends trivia night, I think it'd do pretty well.
There probably is Friends trivia night.
Let's do it.
So you know.
Okay. Besides that, nothing really going on. I'm just waiting for summer to be over, to start school again, so I can hate school and want to go back to summer vacation.
Yeah, right on.
Oh, actually, fantasy football's starting up pretty quick. Sure. I got my invitation to join my league. We play every year. This year's the first time we're doing a buy-in for $20, winner take all, and the winner gets a belt. And I bought the belt when we first made the the league as a trophy. I've never won it, so I've never been able to wear it. It really bums me out. So I really need to win. My team's called the Arlen High Booster Club, and got a picture of King of the Hill. Yeah. So pretty stoked.
I dig it.
Besides that, nothing's going on in my life. I'm just super stoked to do some Game of Thrones, Rick and Morty with you later today.
Hell yeah, because that shit came out. Rick and Morty's out.
Batman's coming back.
Batman. Dude, I just watched Lego Batman last night. We found out my roommate had never seen it. Oh, and Leandra got really upset and was like, well, we gotta go watch it.
What'd Josh say?
He was like, all right, cool. I don't know how I missed it. How did I not see it with you guys?
No, what did he say after he watched it?
He was like, yeah, it was a really good movie.
Okay, good. You know my stance. I think it's good. I like Lego Movie more, though.
Well, I feel the opposite, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why you and I get along so well.
Exactly.
Anyways, Kyle's coming back, so Pathfinder will be happening pretty soon.
Talked to him today. He is coming back on the 8th, so
that's like 2 days.
A couple days, yeah.
We should totally do something really funny, prank him. We should burn his house down.
Oh my god, way ahead of you. I set up the explosives, so we just go in, we gotta light a lighter, and then the gasoline will take care of the rest.
You got Noli out, though, right?
Who?
The dog.
Nah.
Okay. Well, let's get into this week's news, yeah?
Okay, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's just get going.
So check it out. Studio Bones has announced they're going to be continuing Mob Psycho 100. Now, I don't know if you know this show or not.
Fucking love the show. I have a t-shirt of this show.
I'm pretty stoked about this.
Oh, Sierra watched it.
Oh, what'd she think?
She liked it, and she wasn't a huge fan of the art style, which is fine.
Well, yeah, the art style is very weird. And
I love the art style. Yeah, I love the art style.
Fantastic, but it does take some getting used to because it is gross looking at first. Because just everything, I don't know, it looks funky. I love it.
I love this show though so much.
Fantastic. I mean, we all expected that there was going to be another season because there was so much excitement and everything. And recently, we had talked about how Twitch did their whole thing where you could watch the episodes online with other people. It was a streaming thing. Everybody was very excited. And Mob Psycho 100, people got super excited during that.
Yeah.
And then this news came out just a few days later. So all the people that were watching it for the first time must have been crazy hyped.
Yeah, the show kind of fell under the radar, I feel like. People
a little bit, yeah.
People don't, because I've been telling people about the show, they haven't seen it. Have you seen One Punch Man? I was like, yeah, okay, then watch this one other show.
Please do this. Yeah. You will enjoy it.
Because most people like One Punch Man. Check out Mob Psycho 100. It's really entertaining.
It's fantastic. Next up, Dagashi Kashi gets a second season. Now, first off, this name, so much fun. Try it out.
Dagashi Kashi.
Great.
Dagashi Kashi.
Feels fun, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. So this was definitely an under the radar show. I haven't seen it before, but I'm pretty interested in it. It's a slice of life, comedy type style, shonen, where there's this confectionery sweets shop that's in the family, and the one who's supposed to take it over doesn't want to.
Oh,
so I have to convince him how to do that.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, you might.
Exactly, yeah.
So anyways, you might relate to this show a lot. Who knows? But I want to check this out. So Dagashi Kashi gets second season. Pretty exciting.
Cool.
Next up, Netflix is remaking Knights of Zodiac Saint Seiya, which I don't know shit about, but Netflix is doing it, and it's their own thing. They're not just all right, let's slap a fucking name on it. No, this is an old ass anime that's being remade.
It kind of reminds me of a Magic Girl meets Power Rangers-esque kind of thing.
Yeah,
from what I haven't seen it, but from the images I've seen, the vibes it gives me, Definitely. It looks weird. I can't wait to check it out. I love Netflix, and they have never done us wrong, Trip. Never, not once,
not ever.
I don't know about you, but I am super stoked to watch the Death Note movie.
I'm excited about most things Netflix is doing. They released Wet Hot American Summer 10 years later.
I saw that.
I haven't seen it yet, but we have a list of shows that we're trying to watch with Leandra, Josh, and I, because she doesn't like to watch shows alone, because I don't know what the fuck's wrong with her.
She's scared of the dark.
But it puts us in television hostage. So we're trying to get through Arrested Development Season 4, because she had never seen that. Well, she did start watching and was like, I don't know, I didn't like it. And we're like, the fuck is wrong with you? Then we start watching and she's like, you're right, this is hilarious. Yeah.
You guys should let Leandra dictate your life.
Next up, she also tried to do the same thing with Wet Hot American Summer at the first day of camp or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she wasn't into it then, and we were both like, what the fuck?
Did you like
What
it?
are you doing? I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Because did you ever see the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really funny how they were just I feel so young and spry, and there's old as
shit.
Fuck.
Yeah. I think I like the movie more.
Oh yeah, I like the movie more, but I really like the show too. Because, we got to explain why the can of vegetables is a can of vegetables.
Yes. I have faith in Netflix, so I'm going to check this out. If it's Netflix making it, I'm pretty sure they're going to make it 3D. It's just I feel like that's what they do.
Who knows, man? I don't know for sure, but I hope not. I just don't enjoy 3D that much.
No, yeah, no.
A bummer. I want my girls to be 2D, you know?
Yeah. That's the way I like my boys being drawn.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, sad news, Daisuki.net is shutting down. They've been around for a long time. They're not super prevalent in the US, and I think that has a very large part of all this. They had a ton of licensing that had been removed, and now they have to get licensing from 6 different distributors, and it's very expensive, and it takes up a lot, and they don't have that many great shows on there that people want to use the service for. Right. So, most people used this in order to watch One Punch Man, because in other countries they didn't have the simulcast that we got. We got it on Hulu, which was pretty big. Mm-hmm. Daisuki.net had it, so people used it for that. And now everybody else that didn't get around to it when it was airing got to watch it on Netflix, except in other countries where Daisuki.net is still the best place to watch it. Mm. So hopefully, I don't know if it did come to Crunchyroll. I think it might have just come to Crunchyroll, right?
One Punch Man?
Yeah. Is it?
I don't know. I just know that it's for sure on Hulu and Netflix. I'll check it out.
Yeah, but anyways, pretty sad that a network I don't really know. A streaming network is going out of business.
No, it's on our Crunchyroll.
Okay, well, yeah, that makes it more difficult for other people to watch these good shows.
Yeah, bummer.
Sad news. Anyways, Violet Evergarden is coming to Japan's Netflix, and it will be released worldwide in 2018 through Netflix, which is pretty exciting. We wanted to go see the premiere of this at Anime Expo, but we couldn't go because of a number of different things. Big line, not enough time. We don't try hard enough. That's kind of just our life.
Because we're bad at things. Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, I'm glad we're going to get to see it. It sucks to get to wait till 2018. God knows how long till that happens.
Who knows? Forever. So I'm excited about that. It should be cool. Next up, Netflix is, they just released a trailer for an original animated title called A.I.C.O. A.I.C.O. I think that's how you say it.
I didn't see this. Did you see it?
Yeah, it's like 4 minutes long.
What's it look like?
It looks interesting. Honestly, I'm just going to say go ahead and check it out since they have a full trailer for it. Mm-hmm. And kind of form your own opinion, because since this is a Netflix original anime, that's crazy to me. So
2D or 3D?
It's 2D. So yeah. A little spoiler, boys, about it. Don't know exactly what it is, but the trailer that we get to watch is very exciting, and it's a simulation. So we get to see like a clip of something bigger. Ooh. We don't really get to know what the show is.
What a sizzle. Look at you. Ooh, teasing people.
Look at us. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It looks like it's got a lot of action. It looks like fun. At first when I was watching it, I was like, God, these fucking characters are dumb. They're doing weird shit. And then I'm like, it's simulation. It's a simulation, guys. We're fine. And yeah, everybody was cool with it. So
what's that? Is that news?
That's news. Also, a little tidbit here about My Hero Academia. Right. They're getting an all-original anime episode. Yeah. Not based off of the manga. So now all you fuckers that read ahead...
God... Me?
Don't get to predict. Yeah, just specifically you.
No,
all of you, Juan.
I was actually sitting there after watching the teaser, the preview for next week after episode 31, and I was just like, yeah, next week's, an all new episode, brand new original, and I was just like, I looked at the series like, that's a nice little treat. I don't know what it's gonna be. Yeah. But I'm assuming it's gonna be a filler episode. There's nothing really.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Nothing serious is gonna happen. But
dude, fuck it.
I love this show. It's still my favorite, so it's looking good. Okay, so that's the news, guys.
Dude, straight up.
So this week we got a little special treat from you guys. Mm-hmm. I discovered this a while back.
You did, like a year ago, probably. Something around there. 2 years ago?
A few months
before
ago.
We even started the podcast.
That's not true. A few months ago, I wanted to look into Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. Is that what the movie's called? It came out in these States. And I want to look some more information on it. And I Googled it, and this weird image popped up, and I was like, that doesn't look... I was like, oh, it's like a cartoon. I click on it, and it turns out Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets is actually an anime. And,
well, kind of.
Yeah, and kind of an anime. So it was on Crunchyroll. I was like, oh, okay, look at this guy right here. So I was like, I let you know, and then I decided, you know what, why don't we make an episode of it?
Yeah.
So we did the research. I watched all of it.
I watched as much as I could.
I watched all 40 episodes.
The time that I had.
Trip watched 25-ish? 26?
Yeah.
Which is still a huge chunk. And then we also watched Valerian, the movie that came out, and we wanted to compare the two because they're both based off a graphic novel from France. What's the title? Valerian and Lauraline.
Yeah.
So that's the title of it. I tried to read some of it. Did you check?
I thought about doing that. I was going to check it out today, but I decided that it's too difficult to find.
Yeah. I googled Valerian and Laureline, read online, and I found it. So
okay, well, looks like you're a little bit better than I am.
So I looked it up because I wanted to check out. The artwork looks pretty old in my opinion. It's like kind of, I don't know, cartoony.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like classic. To me, classic like comic book style.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like what old like Tintin would look like.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I'm sure the story's great, but it's based off it's from France, so it's a French novel, comic book, or whatever that ran for a long time. I think it finished in 2010 or something like that. So it's been around for a long time. Damn. So there's the source material isn't technically anime, but there is an anime thing about it. And Trip, why don't you tell us like why it kind of is anime? Sort of.
Okay, so check it out. Back in the early 2000s, they were trying to make this show. They made a little pilot for it, and nothing really came of it. And then they made another little pilot. It didn't really work out. And finally, France was like, yo, Japan, we gotta do this. This shit's gonna be great. It's gonna be called Time Jam. Valerian and Lauraline. Yep.
Yeah.
And essentially, what they wound up doing is in 2006, they put together a little animation that wound up working out. So in 2007, they started working on it, and they were able to make a full-fledged show. But it deviates so much from the actual source material. Mm-hmm. They pretty much just take the likeness of certain characters and the same ideas, but they fuck it all up.
Well, I mean, I was reading into it, and it looks like the Valerian movie that came out deviates even more than what the source material is.
Oh, yeah.
So,
like, the Valerian movie essentially just takes the same world, I guess.
Yeah, and adds these two titular characters, like, here we go. And then, like, takes away one of the titular characters and just names the movie Valerian. But in the anime, the premise is, Valerian and Laureline team up or whatever, and, he is a time cop or a time something.
Sure.
He goes through time and he does research. He travels through time and does research for, I don't know why. Why would he ever do research in time?
It's fucking dumb.
Like, how would knowing what happened in like 20th century, whatever, gonna help you in the fucking way in the future? You're like, it makes sense.
Point that we realized it was important to keep track of everything.
Yeah.
I think that if we make it that far and we were able to look back this much, we've pretty much got it.
Yeah. So in the comic book that also happens. Like, he's also that, and Laureline actually has the same backstory where she's also from the past and gets brought to the future or whatever.
Yeah. And then shit fucking hits the fan and it separates completely two different stories.
Yeah. In the anime, they also they get rid of like the planet disappears, which is like a huge deal. And we have this whole 40 episode arc of like, where's the planet? Let's find the planet. But not really, because like the planet gets found in the last like 2 episodes, and you kind of feel like the other 38 episodes are like, oh, okay, that was just fun, But
yeah, I mean, essentially, like everything that I watched was just like, oh, this is fun. Who gives a shit?
And then every now and then, Valerian's just like, we gotta find planet Earth.
And then they fucking jam it down your throat, though. They're just like, man, if only I knew where Earth was. What happened to Earth? Did I kill Earth? What's happening with Earth? Okay. Earth happened this way.
Trip, why don't we give a review of the anime first? Do a quick like synopsis of like the little bit that we know, like not too much, just like basic premise of what we go.
Okay, so check it out. Valerian and Lauraline wind up being incredibly capable people. Valerian has always been super capable, but when he brought back Lauraline, it changed the timeline. So Earth is missing, and they want to find it and figure out how to fix everything. No Earthlings exist anymore.
Except for them two. They're the only 2 Earthlings, and they say it all the time.
Yep, and it turns out that Valerian's pretty fortunate that Lauraline is one of the smartest people ever, because she's able to learn fucking everything from scratch. Now, they came from the year 2720, and, well, Valerian did.
Yeah.
And then he went back in time to the year 1000, picked up Lauraline, back into the future, 2720.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to make ends meet, because now Valerian doesn't have an actual job. Lauraline's coming into a whole different timeline.
Super confident.
Somehow learns everything.
Like, she's like quoting, like Alexander Graham Bell or like, you know, Thomas Edison was like, how the fuck do you know this? You know,
she's a fucking genius.
I love that. She's just like, yeah, like we were in subspace for a few months. I picked it up, you know. I know a bunch of scholarly stuff.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 months she was able to learn everything.
yeah. She's just like, and not only does she know all the stuff that like from her Earth that didn't happen, she knows like all the galactic stuff. She's just like, I mean, every now and then there's like an animal or like an alien that she doesn't recognize, but it'll be like, oh yeah, that's so and so from this region, and they're currently in discussion with this person. It's like, how do you know this, Laureline?
It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the basics, and like every episode, something about this show is it feels very episodical, where like,
it is.
You don't really need to see the episode before to see the episode after.
It was definitely made for a younger audience so that they could just watch it whenever they can watch it.
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe 2 or 3 episodes that are like back to back, where it's like there's part 1 and part 2 that you have to see. But for the most part, you watch episode 1, you could go to episode 7, go to 9, but you won't really miss stuff. I mean, there are reoccurring characters, which I'm super surprised that so many characters came back, because a lot of times in shows that are made for kids, they'll introduce somebody and then they're just gone forever.
Yeah.
This show surprisingly doesn't do that. Like, they'll introduce somebody in episode 2, and they come back way later. Yeah. Like, we go to their wedding in like episode 30 something. I was like, whoa! You saw like the when they're in charge of going to like a new planet and trying to colonizing it, and the couple, they get married later. It's so sweet.
It's crazy. Yeah. One of the things that I really liked is that consistency. There were a couple of things that were very well done. One of them had to do with just the way that the spaceship like did something in particular. Like, there were some fucking stupid dorky kid shit type things.
Well, yeah, like a lot of the problems were always an electromagnetic field. That was like the go-to problem. Like, oh shit, what's going on? Electromagnetic field did this, and like that was just like the pincushion of everything. So I understand what you're saying, but dumb it down for kids.
A lot of really good consistency in it, which I thought made it more well put together than another children's show, because they could just like say, whatever, like this thing just happened, who cares? And then you have a character that's completely removed from the next scene, even though they should definitely be there. Yeah. But this show has consistency. I can't think of a specific example, but I do remember that there was like a spaceship that took off, and it wound up being there in a certain way that worked out perfect. I don't know. It was a very specific, bizarre thing. Yeah. But that was the point where I realized, oh shit, this show has like more merit than I was giving it beforehand, because they're paying attention.
Everything's actually thought out pretty well. Like, surprisingly, even though it feels, this is an older show. 08, it was when it finally was released or finished or whatever done. So, you kind of take it for granted, like, oh, it's one of those dumb animes or whatever. It's just like, it's really basic or whatever. But no, they like, whoever wrote this, whoever made the show, really wanted the show to come, because they're 40 episodes. They all tie together in a perfect bow, and and like everything's there for a reason.
All right, so check it out. One of my favorite characters, just because of a small thing. There was an episode where they wind up seeing all these humans, and they're very confused, and they see everything is kind of happening, and they're like, oh my god, what's happening? And when I say that, I mean pretty much it's Valerian. Yeah. And he runs into Lauraline, but it turns out that it's a different Laureline, and all this stuff's happening. He's like, I know you, I know all these people, but nobody knows who he is.
I know what episode you're talking about.
Yeah, cool. And then he winds up finding another character that we had seen beforehand who has telepathic powers. So he realizes that Valerian is one of the only people that doesn't have this thing that's like preventing him from having his thoughts read, and it lets him know that he's being genuine and being like, no, I do know you, and like I know you, and like we've met each other.
But he's like he's not wearing a telepathic necklace that blocks people telepaths, because apparently it's a huge deal. It is. So he's able to like read his mind and be like, you, like, he read everything. Like, you were so honest, and you know who I am. I don't know who you are, but let's figure this out. Yeah. It's because he gets put into a different timeline or whatever.
And I thought that was super cool how all of that worked out. Just in that we could see what could happen, what could have happened if, they didn't completely fuck up everything by taking Laureline and destroying Earth. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, what I was trying to say earlier was, surprisingly also there's like huge influences of like politics in this show. Oh yeah. Like everything that Valerian does, and Lauraline, is to stop this evil empire, the Vlargar Empire or whatever, from taking over. And there's like, they're friends with a bunch of politicians who are like a part of this, like the UN essentially of the universe. And everybody's like, a lot of times for the first 10 episodes, a lot of things were just like, we can't let this happen because they'll give them the numbers in the Senate, and this is a problem, blah, blah, blah. And for a while I thought like, this is so fucking boring. But before I knew it, like I actually started like really caring about like, oh shit, we can't let the Vlargars or whatever be in charge here. Like they're bad people. They're disgusting little squids.
Yeah. And they do an interesting thing too, where those are like the only characters that are 3D animated.
Yeah. They're like these weird looking like squid combination things, and like they are gross and 3D looking. And only on a few occasions do I see them interact with other 2D things. Like there's one time he holds something that's 2D and it looks really bad. So that was like, if we're going to talk about like what the show looks like, the show doesn't look good by any means. I don't feel it's pretty old, and the animation is pretty lazy. I was telling you that it wasn't. There are certain episodes that I really like where there's action sequences. In the very last episode, there's an amazing action sequence that lasts for a good 4 or 5 minutes, and there's like, it's so fluid. It looks great. Like nothing to the level of what comes out today, but for what I was watching to like that split moment where shit started happening, it looks great. And I was like, oh, this is where a lot of the money went to make this look great. And yeah, I got over the fact that they were 3D. I instantly hated it when I first saw it. I was like, why would they do that? But I kind of got over it by, after watching 40 episodes, I was like, yeah, it is what it is. They're just 3D little freaks. What was I going to say? Is there anything you like don't really like about the show? Like inherently, like you just like really hate?
Yeah, well, more than anything, the voice acting. It was just atrocious. That was,
oh my god.
So it's let's take it back a second. This was made by a French-Japanese combination. We had different parts in different areas. So, like for example, they shared production coordination so that they could like figure out who's doing what, essentially.
I'd hope they share that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's pretty much the only thing, because France directed it. They also did all the script writing, the music, and they had the original character designs from the comics. But Japan wound up doing the assistant directing, and then they took care of the whole animations direction, the new character designs, and the mechanical designs, so the mecha designs. So in doing that, I feel like we had so many different areas. It originally aired in both French and Japanese, but the English voiceover was really weird British like voice acting. Yeah, because it's only weird to me because I've heard a lot of shitty English voice acting in my life, but like I haven't heard shitty British voice acting. I haven't heard much British voice acting at all, but I feel like it would just be so natural for them to just talk and it sounds fine. Yeah. But instead they're like theater acting in an animated show. Yeah, it feels in weird. Space. Yeah, no, it's super. It's atrocious how bad their like the British accents are. Yeah, and on top of that, it doesn't really make sense because they're from France. Yeah, why wouldn't they have a French accent? Right. I mean, a French accent is kind of off-putting. I feel like it's kind of harder to understand than a British accent. But why would your main character always talks about, I grew up in France, and I was in Paris, and all this stuff. And anytime they go to Earth, more often than not, they go to France. Like the very last episode, they end up having this massive battle at the Eiffel Tower. Laureline gets picked up from like medieval France. Yeah. But they have British accents, and they're fucking shit. And that was one thing. Like as soon as the movie started, Valerian City of Thousand Planets, I was just like, where the fuck's the British accent, dog? Makes no sense. No sense. No, they, and we'll talk about the movie in a second here, but there were a lot of differences from the movies, characters, and the cartoons characters. Yeah. For sure.
I just want to quickly talk about a few episodes that, like, I really liked, because, I mean, I was telling you, I sent you a text, like, this might be controversial. I actually like the show. Like, after watching all 40, like, I see the merit in it, and I see that if this show was, like, redone, like, with, new animation, better voice acting, I feel like the story could hold up, because I mean, not for like an adult, but like for someone who's a younger anime fan or someone who likes science fiction or whatever. Yeah. I feel this definitely has its spot. So there's like 3 episodes that I really liked. I liked episode 23, 29, and 31. Yeah. And they all the episodes have puns. Like they all have like,
God, every title is just like time for breakfast, or like I'm running out of time,
or you're it's like on borrowed time, or in the nick of time, or saved by time. Time's time up. Money is time. Time is money. Oh God. Anyways. So in the 23rd episode, you meet Prina, who is which you got to meet, which was going to be one of the people that they know is a prince, going to marry her, and we meet her in that episode, and she's super nice, but we later find out that she's evil, and she's like becomes one of the best, and I feel like the best villain in the entire show. And so in that episode, they get sent to a planet to stop these like kind of monkey-esque creatures that excrete this gland from their head, and they are kind of like a laser beam almost, and it makes the people super aggressive and violent and start fighting. And so Lauraline and Valerian are going down there to stop them and like catch them with these rings. And they have like this little other monkey helper. And I don't know, that episode I really liked because Lauraline got zapped or whatever, and she became evil, and she like instantly joins like the Vlargar. Like fuck yeah. And I was like, and she's like, how do I defeat Lauraline? Blah blah blah. Oh my god, I like that episode a lot. I thought it was super fun. In the 29th episode, this is after we find out that Prina is a bad person. They get trapped on a planet. It's Valerian, Lauraline, Prina, and then two of like these like evil lizard guys. And the planet they're on is like this evil carnivorous planet, and it's telepathically speaking to the girl because she's a telepath, and she's saying like she's setting them up to fail. So like the planet's slowly like eating away at them, and I don't know, it was really good. I feel like there's great character development between the bad guys and the good guys. And then lastly, I like the 31st episode because my favorite characters in the show were the Shingus, which were these three little like platypus looking monsters, aliens, right? Who were they just kind of, they were dealers, right? Like
essentially.
And in the movie, they were like information brokers or whatever. Like they had info. In the show, they were more like they acquired artifacts and sold them and stuff like that. And they hired Lauraline and Valerian to help them out. And so we go to their planet because they are selling artifacts to this museum, and every 6 months on the dot, the artifact is just being stolen. And we learned that on planet like Shingu, every person who exists is on the stock market, and everything that happens to them either lowers or raises their stock. So like if they get sick, like, oh, we don't invest in them because he's sick, so they lower the stock. And you can go broke and be just, go bankrupt at the stocks, and you're poor. Or you do really good things like you sell stuff, you get married or you get a promotion, your stock goes up, people invest in you because they're super stingy creatures or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really liked seeing like their planet or whatever.
That's
and
super cool.
Yeah, so right now they need Valerian and Lauraline to help them out, like find the missing things, because their stocks slowly being like lowered because people are like, oh, they sold false artifacts or they're being stolen and they think they did it. And yeah, it was really cool. Like everything on that planet's super shit because since everybody's super cheap, whenever something needs to get fixed, they always fix it for like the lowest amount possible. Right. Like the stop signs don't work. Everywhere is these little like tags on their head, and it shows like their name, and it's like advertising for like, hey, invest in me. And it's just like, what I really like about the show, and I also like about the movie, is like all the different aliens in the show. Like there are so many different like creatures that look different or they act different. Some are telepathic, some are biped, some are squids, and I liked learning about them. Like they built a really good world, and like the Shingu seeing their planet, like it's a super good time. Like there's also this other planet where they went and like everybody was essentially a penguin and everything was super cold, which was fun. Yeah, but the Shingu's planet was my favorite. So I like the show. I don't think I'd rewatch it. It's a lot to rewatch. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody like recently. Like I want to be like, hey man, it's a really good show. You should check out.
Maybe that's what it was. I think it was the Penguin Planet that I was thinking of, which was really good consistency, where like the spaceship was just flying around using a bunch of fuel, and it was hot, clearly. Mm-hmm. And when they landed, it was melting.
Oh, melted around it? Yeah.
Well, yeah. That was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good. At the Penguin Planet, they're like, since he's warm-blooded, if he touches anything, it melts. Yeah. So they're like, hey, can you please walk on the pathway that's made for warm-blooded creatures? And he also can't touch other people because they'll kill him because he's too warm. But for him, it's like he's fucking freezing. Yeah. No, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, that's a great attention to detail. I like the show. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I don't think it's like it's a must see, but I see what they were going for, and I can respect them for it. really fucking love the fucking theme song though. Like,
theme song got pretty jammy.
So fucking catchy. It's super short too. But I just, God, every time that would start and it also gets played at the end, I was like, yeah, man, I like, and it tells you exactly what the show's about. They're lost in time and space. They don't know where planet is, but there's always going to be a hero, Valerian. I was like,
which honestly, I don't think Valerian was as cool as Lauraline. Just gonna come out and say
no. You know, the creator of Valerian and Laureline actually says that he likes Laureline so much more. He loves her characterization. He loves her backstory. He loves the fact that she's a super strong heroine, as opposed to just being this there's a damsel in distress, because they save each other back and forth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I didn't. Maybe I didn't really like Valerian either. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I didn't like Laureline too much either. I feel like there's other characters who I liked more, but they're the main characters.
I liked them just fine. I like their spaceship too.
Oh, their spaceship was super fun. What do you think about the love interest, the love connection they had? They always denied it. They're like, we're not in love, but it was like, you guys are clearly in love.
It's a classic TV trope. I'm not into that stuff.
Yeah,
whatever.
They kissed on 4 occasions. Yeah, and on 3 of them we didn't get to see it. We finally got to see the last kiss, and it was a super awkward far away zoomed out shot while they're dancing, and I was like, what the fuck, this is not how you make TV, dog. Dude, get that shit in close.
It is sketchy.
Yeah,
you don't want to push that rating up there.
Oh, that PG-13 rating. They're ooh, there's sexual tension and stuff. They're when one they go underwater and they come back later and it's I just want you to know that the only reason I did that was because you were underwater and I was scared that you didn't have enough oxygen. I was just like. And he's just like, yeah, right. I was just like, that is a stupid fucking excuse for, that's why I kissed you, okay? It wasn't because you were stranded on this planet with no technology and you were hoping that Valerian would come back and save you. Guess what? He did. That's a good episode too, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move. Okay, so out of 10, what would you say for this show?
5.
5? Okay. Yeah, I'd give it 5 too. And that's mostly on just how much I enjoyed it myself. Yeah. Visually, it just gets docked. Huge points.
Voice acting,
horrible. But, it has, I feel great stories every now and then. It's easy to watch. It has a lot of cool characters in it, I feel like.
Well, I really like how they constantly save each other. Yeah. And it's not just one person saving the other one all the time.
I'd be so sick of her being just a damsel. She's competent. Yeah. That's what, it's super amazing that they're competent heroes. Usually it's just they fall into stuff. They know what they're doing.
All the things that they get trapped with or something bad happens aren't things that they could have easily prevented by any means.
No. Oh, yeah. But they figure it out, which is super surprising. Because I feel like that's always a huge trope where your main characters are just they're just super awkwardly lucky, And, things always do wrap up at the end of it, all 24 minutes of whatever the show lasts, because it is for kids. So even though horrible tragedy happens, it's okay. Very few people die in the show too. Very few people actually get killed. Yeah. I think I only saw 2 on-screen deaths, and I was like, whoa, it was pretty heavy. And that was by the way end. So yeah, I'd give it a 5 too. I like the show though. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Let's talk about because we don't review movies very often, but this is technically a movie that's kind of an anime, sort of.
So the whole deal with this too, this was the most expensive movie that France has ever made. Okay. The whole reason behind that is, well, if they were to make it in France using all the American actors, it was going to be really fucking expensive. Mm-hmm. So instead, they made it slightly less really fucking expensive by recording it elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the biggest things. Other than that, the 2 biggest movies were what's that really popular French comic?
I'm sorry.
It's Asterix or something.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, whatever. Sorry. There's a huge comic in France that they made a movie of it, and it was the most expensive thing. And then next up is Fifth Element, which is the movie made by the same director. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So he is now making the next most expensive due to all the special effects and where they had to record it and everything pretty much involved with it. Crazy expensive. And in order for it to break even, they had to make a fucking lot of sales at the box office.
And they're not going to make
that. They're not going to make that. They have way too many negative reviews, which I think is a shame, but I think it comes entirely down to the writing. Yeah. Which the director had written it a while ago, But upon seeing Avatar and realizing we're at the point where everything's capable, I have to focus more, I have to make it a better story, he rewrote everything. Yeah. I don't know if that's for the better or worse, but it seems like it's for the worse.
Yeah, no, you and I left the movie kind of confused because I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it for any of the, the reasons I should have enjoyed it, you know? Like, you and I agree that the two main characters...
hate them.
Horrible. Like, their characterizations were fucking garbage. Yeah. Their dialogue was
has
shit.
No personality.
Yeah, I was... Like, Valerian is like this, you know... Not even in the anime, but he's a competent, good person. In the movie, he was just like, I'm the super sexy, suave guy, and everybody loves me, and I fuck bitches all the time, and I'm Valerian.
And meanwhile, his character was the most boring piece of shit.
Oh my god, yeah, he's Dane DeHaan, which is the guy from Chronicles. Yeah, who's a super like awkward looking guy. You know, I feel like he's more shoulders, like lanky dude. And he's just like, I'm Valerian, I'm super cool. It was like his voice was just gross sounding, and like one of the big problems also was like I was telling you, like, instead of showing the character development or how he like grew as a person, or showing us what his like how he was, like his characteristics, it was more like
they explained it.
He just said what he was, like, I'm a cool dude and I get everything right, or like I'm a soldier and a soldier does what a soldier's supposed to do, and that's what soldiers do because I'm a soldier.
I thought that was so fucking dumb that he had to say it, but also. That's what soldiers do. I like that they kind of did say that.
but it's just like, especially by the end of the movie, it's just like, after realizing, we kind of fucked up or whatever, and just like, and Lauraline just like, you know what, let's these aliens go or whatever. And he's like, whoa, we can't do that. That's not our property to give away. It's just like, come on, bro. Like, just let it be. I really liked the way the movie looked. I really liked visually really great. Yeah, fucking gorgeous. There's some really cool looking aliens, like the aliens from the Pearl Planet. I like the Shingus. They look pretty like true to what they looked like in the anime. Yeah. I can't. The space, everything, battles were great. I just didn't like it. Like, I didn't like them, which just sucks because like
I came out of the movie actually having enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Yeah.
And everything about the movie, the environments, the creatures, the technology, all of that stuff was fantastic. It's where the characters fell flat and made the movie bad. Yeah. That's really where the movie needed more oomph. Yeah. Yeah, the dialogue was pretty lame. They had a couple of really pointless sequences. Yeah. They were cool, though. That's one of the things where Rihanna's Squid Girl is doing this whole transforming into other people and, like, doing a weird thing. That was really cool. And afterwards, it's supposed to be, like, some kind of a striptease type show. Yeah. Afterwards, she's like, so what do you think? He was like, it was really cool.
And I was like,
yeah, it was really fucking cool. But I think it was supposed to be a joke because it was supposed to be, like, sexy or something like that. But honestly, I was like, no, that was just fucking cool. Like, that's all.
No, yeah, in that scene, like, the problem with that scene is like it was too long, and realistically, if you're Valerian and you're trying to, save Lauraline, because that's like a lot of the movie was, her yelling Valerian and him yelling Lauraline, you wouldn't sit there for the whole striptease, you'd be like, hey, I actually got to do this thing, can you help me out? But, I get why he sat through it and why it was in the movie is because it was super awesome to watch. I super enjoyed it. I was super impressed. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like if there was a sequel to this, I wouldn't want to watch it because and then I just have to go see Laureline and Valerian get married, which was like this super forced romance. Like in the weird. It was just like
starts out at the beginning. It's like, I love you. You're the only girl for me. Like, why don't you love me the way that I love you? I'll make you love me. I want you to marry me. And she's just like, maybe I'll marry you.
Maybe. And at the very end, it's still like, so is that a yes? And she's just like, yeah. I was like, what?
I fucking hated it.
Yeah, they were garbage. So, out of 10, what would you say for the movie?
Like 4.
4? Yeah, I agree. Because
the things that I liked were purely just for fun. And, as a movie itself, it fucking sucked. It was so bad. The dialogue sucked. Things that happened sucked. All of the sequences and the action and everything was pretty cool, though.
Do you think this qualifies for us to, label it in our live-action rankings?
No.
No? It's not anime enough?
It was... Well, because the thing is, the fucking anime cartoon thing is completely separate. And not only that, it's not even listed on my anime list. It's
no way.
It's not allowed to be on my anime list. And the reason for that is more than 50% of the production took place in France.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much just the animation took place in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when they outsourced like Legend of Korra or whatever. It's just like, a lot of it's in the States, but a lot of that animation is done by the guys in South Korea.
Yeah, so like we wouldn't call it a South Korean
animated show. Yeah.
It would be an American. Yeah.
No, I think, and same with like, was it Castlevania, a lot of their stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's an American show, but it was all like done in South Korea. But yeah, anyways, with the movie, overall, the plot, there is a race of aliens that they live off of the energy from these special pearls.
Yeah.
And they wind up getting obliterated. Like, that's the first thing.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that there are some people that want to get a hold of these pearls, and this creature that lived on that planet, it's the last known creature of its kind to be alive, that could multiply these pearls.
Yeah.
So essentially we're just having a big thing. It's a chase over who gets that and who gets what. And then the general that you can clearly tell is like super seedy and fucked up from the first second you see him, he gets kidnapped. So they try to capture him, and in doing so, Valerian gets a little bit fucked up, Lauraline gets a little bit fucked up, and some bad things happen, which coming from the TV show and seeing how goddamn competent Laureline is, she was pretty dumb.
She bummed you out, yeah.
Yeah, I was bummed, because the whole reason she gets captured is because she doesn't know about this area that Valerian knows all about, when Lauraline's generally the smarter one. And so she didn't know about it. She gets captured by these other people that she doesn't know anything about. And for some reason everyone else does. Lauraline doesn't. She doesn't know how to deal with her situation either. Instead of, being a badass and like just going with the flow until a certain point and then like kicking ass. Instead she's like, I'll just go with the flow and then panic.
Or she's just like, I'll just wait for Valerian to show up because he always shows up and saves me because he's Valerian. And like, yeah, he does, but come on, girl, do something, you know?
I did not like that point of it, but
anyways, and we find out the governments and the humans are responsible for killing these guys, these aliens by accident or whatever, and they're sorry or whatever, right? Yeah. Essentially, the movie, again, not that great. It looked great. I really, my favorite scene, visually, was when they went to the big market, where it was, a market that was in a different dimension, so you'd show up and put on your helmet and your gloves, that way you could touch stuff and see stuff. But when people weren't wearing that, it's just this giant open space, and there's just people walking around.
It was a really cool concept.
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was super interesting, and they were able to put these boxes on their hands to be able to
transport their arm into the other dimension.
Yeah, and bring guns in or whatever and be invisible. That I felt and that's pretty near the beginning of the movie. I'm when that happened, I'm pretty impressed by this.
Yeah. One of the things that I really liked is I didn't realize the purpose of this, but there was a gun that Valerian had used in order to jump across an open space. And, whatever. Then later on, he used it for its actual purpose, which is as a shield.
Yeah.
And it was blocking bullets or lasers or whatever the fuck they were shooting.
It makes a little round platform that he could step on, and we see that in the trailer. And then later on, we also see it in the scene where, and it's not just him. A bunch of the people who work for the government use it or whatever. Yeah. Because there's the guy has to get to a control panel and starts shooting a few times, and 3 or 4 shields pop up, and these bullets get caught by it.
That was so cool.
Yeah, that is a great weapon.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. They showed us that it's multi-utility, which I don't know. I fucking loved it. I liked how smart that was. And that's, with the technology of the whole hand box thing and the gun and really any element to it. There was a giant spaceship that broke up into a shit ton of small ones. All of the technology stuff was fucking so cool.
And it looked good. Even the technology that the Pearls guys use, they came up and started shooting these weird goop at people, and they encased them in this weird nasty cocoon. I was that's super impressive.
And they were made out of badass shells and stuff. It just looked really good.
Yeah, no, all in all, I feel looks great, just not good, right?
That's really the biggest flaw. man, I really wish that because the story was cool too. I want to say that I really like the story.
Yeah, it just felt kind of like a mission, you know.
Yeah, and that's what the show felt like. It felt like just a really long episode of the show in some regards. But yeah, you know, having this race of people trying to bring back their planet, that was really neat.
Totally
to see.
fair, yeah.
And, like, the way that everything kind of came about was interesting. We got some pointless shit going on with Laureline and Valerian at one point, and then we had a totally needless character death too.
Yeah,
which I just felt unnecessary.
Yeah, it just kind of bummed someone out.
We didn't have enough time to really relate to that character either.
There's like, oh, guess she's dead. Bye bye. You know.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And like I said, if there's a sequel, like I wish they would just recast it or something, because like I don't want to see them two again. Like I would hate that. I mean, I doubt they'll make a sequel to this. It made like no monies, and you need to make some monies to make another movie. And this movie is super. I feel like didn't they say this is has the most visual effects in any movie ever now?
Did they say that?
I think so. I think it passed like Avatar or something like that. Which you know, fucking it looks good. It's 2017. Special effects look fucking great.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Cool, man. Is that the show?
That's everything that I've got about it. Overall, Valerian was an interesting thing that I think could be so much better in a lot of ways, but they had some great stuff along the way. Yeah. It's just not for me, you know? All of it, not for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like there's merits in all of it. And I liked it a lot, but I think it could be so much better.
Yeah. I would never recommend the movie to anybody, but if somebody was going to go see the movie, I would definitely preface it with, man, the dialogue is bad, but the movie's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like a good time, but I wouldn't watch the movie again. Like
that's essentially how I felt with Avatar. Yeah, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, because you've seen the movie before. I've seen Dances with Wolves. I've seen Pocahontas. It's like, it looks great. Cool, I'm done. You know.
Yeah. That's it.
Cool, man. So that's the show. I don't know what we're doing next week. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to do homework, probably.
Cool. I don't have anything to give you.
You don't have anything to give me?
Off the top of my head, no.
Dude, check it out. I'm going to give you, just so we know, I'm going to give you Dagashi Kashi.
Have you seen that?
No.
And you're going to give it to me?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
Oh, God. Okay. I guess I have to give you something.
Dude, you can just tell me next week what kind of homework you want to give me. So.
Okay. You're going to be watching Paranoia Agent.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, we're doing cool shit.
Yeah.
All right, next episode is going to be tight. We're going to have a lot of fun. I would like to tell you that I want to do this more, but honestly, I think that next episode is going to be the last one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to kill me off.
And we're going to replace him with your evil twin.
That's perfect. That's
Leandra.
Yeah, that's the rest of the show. That's
nice, cool. So
the series.
Don't listen to him. So,
finale. Okay.
This is so hey, if you like our logo, if you want to get a super awesome logo, hit up turbytops.com.
Fuck yeah.
Hit up Erin. She's a cool person, great artist, nice person to work with. If you like our theme song and want your own theme song for some reason, I mean, who doesn't need their own theme song?
I don't.
Okay, well, if you want your own theme song, hit up Tom Nasser at on SoundCloud. He's on YouTube. Nasser and ASR. Trip, where can you find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. And YouTube. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Now we have all of our episodes posting on there. If you're not a big fan of iTunes or Podbean, boom, YouTube's got you, bitch. And hey, check it out. Go send us a tweet at InstaRamenPod. And shoot us an email, InstaRamenPodcast@gmail.com. The last thing that I do want to say is go to our Facebook page. Check out this video somebody made where it compares the anime of Ghost in the Shell with the movie. Since we just kind of did that this episode, I feel like this is a very important thing to, check out. I thought that they did a good job analyzing it in a different way than we did.
Well, yeah. Well, those are also like, with them, you can actually do a, comparison. I can't compare something from like Valerian with Time Jammer, Valerian, Lauraline.
Nope, not at all.
But yeah, I'll check that out. Sounds like a pretty cool thing to see.
Pretty rad.
So this is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.